So, I'm going to vent, and my language may get a bit heated and, possibly, a lot more adult than usual, although I will censor myself when necessary, like I usually do, to remain well within the restrictions placed on content. This is also going to be low effort on the editing side because I want this out as soon as possible. This morning, I woke up to an email sent last night from YouTube. My video about the authority has been age restricted and demonetized. Yes, it says ads are limited, but that's code for no ad revenue. I don't know if that means they'll remove any revenue previously generated or not. I'm going to presume it might. Anyway, the video was nearing 100,000 views. It was one of my most popular videos in a very, very long time. In fact, breaking 10,000 views on a specific video is a rarity. So having a video that actually hit with a much wider audience was pretty awesome. A popular video means that YouTube will give it more impressions, also known as exposure, which in turn brings more attention to this channel, which is something I've been putting a lot of energy into for the last 6 months or so. Now that my computer issues have been fixed, updates have been more consistent. There's at least one video per week. I've tried a variety of material, from shorts to shorter videos to long-form essays, trying to see what hits and what doesn't. I listen to and respond to your feedback, especially when it concerns improvements I can incorporate, or for that matter, what appeals to you, the audience. I do all the things a quote-unquote creator is supposed to do to find an audience and thrive. Obviously, that's the end goal, to be able to say my job is producing good work that connects with an audience. Sure, it's fun and satisfying on one level, but on another, it's a lot of hard work, and I hardly ever bitch and moan, or seek validation about the tens and tens of hours I put into a single video. And I rarely complain about the lack of exposure this channel receives from the YouTube algorithm. That's all crap I keep to myself because I don't think a quote-unquote creator should make their problems the problems of the audience. But screw it. Maybe I should complain because I am utterly frustrated at this turn of events. And the fact that I've played by the rules, remained well within community guidelines, and as soon as this channel gets a modicum of traction, it gets shut down for no good reason. To give you an idea of the impact of this restriction, here's a screenshot. Now, views were declining as expected. That's pretty natural for a video that's a week old. Right here, that's roughly 1,000 views per hour. The next hour, when the video was restricted, the views substantially drop to less than 100, and they drop immediately until they are practically non-existent. That's the real-time effect of this restriction. Views and subscriptions have substantially dropped off too, like to nothing. That's no exaggeration. Naturally, I immediately responded and challenged this restriction. At the time of this writing, which is literally right after I sent my response, I've obviously not heard whether this has been reversed. I expect it won't be because, you guessed it, this is a smaller channel, and I don't have the clout to reverse a bad decision, especially one that punishes me for no good reason. All I can do is complain to you fine people, vent my frustration, and then sit back and wait for a decision I'm already sure is predetermined. Just as terrible, even if that decision is reversed, the damage has been done. Its upward trend has been terminated, which in turn limits the exposure this channel would have received had it not been suddenly restricted. Hello, Roadblock, my old friend. There's also the pitiful irony that I censored myself in the script and the narration, and tastefully discussed issues of censorship, only to find it was pointless. It wasn't even controversial, or had any language that was offensive. It's just so maddening. All the recent hard work I've done, which seems to have begun to show signs of paying off, has been nullified. You cannot guess the level of frustration and anger that causes. Well, maybe you can because I'm now telling you about it, and you can hear it in my voice. This usually polite, restrained Canadian has had enough. More than enough. I do not want to be making this video. I do not want to be writing and then reading this hastily written script. I want to be sitting at my editor putting together the next video. Instead, I'm forced to address this issue and bitch and moan about decisions that are completely out of my control. All I can do is hope this video gets signal boosted to bring awareness to how smaller channels, like this one, get screwed over, pretty regularly in my experience. While others, who post nothing but drama, wild speculation, and unfounded rumors, or do nothing but complain, get a much, much higher profile and exposure by an automated system. It's so frustrating to be in this position that words begin to fail me. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't begrudge anyone's success. I don't. I emphatically don't. I believe there's room at the metaphorical top for everyone. In the 5 going on 6 years of doing what I do, I've seen a good handful of others start up, achieve success, and thrive. Good for them. Sincerely, I do mean that. But, in the back of my mind, I've always wondered, why not this channel? What is the barrier that keeps me from hitting the same level of success? And after soliciting advice and making changes, then finally seeing an increase, I'm smacked down into place once again. It just produces a rage that I cannot put into words. Ordinarily, I would apologize at this point for the complaints, but I'm not going to. This is unapologetic. It's one of the few events in the history of this channel that I've even made public. I've kept certain things from public view to avoid being that guy. You know, the one that brings attention to himself by calling out others. That's not how I want to build this channel. That's not the reputation I'd prefer to establish. I'm mentioning this now in the context of 5 going on 6 years of trying to build something sustainable without resorting to controversy, to getting roadblocked when it appears the channel is finally getting some traction. It's disheartening. Play by the rules and still get screwed over. It's a lovely system. What should I do? That's my question to everyone. What do I do?